Hello and welcome back to Off The Crossbar Euros Watch Day 10 with myself, Regan Walsh, and as ever, my co-presenter, Brad. Final round of match day fixtures have got underway. How are you feeling after yesterday's games?
No different. I think we all knew Italy were going to finish top of the group. No one really expected Wales to do much. But Wales, fair play. They did better than we thought they'd do.
A lot better than we thought. Whilst Turkey, on the other hand, just were absolutely shocking the whole tournament and have been the first team eliminated from the Euros.
They were still defrosting in the microwave.
Turn out next year, they'll turn up for the tournament and you're like, lad, you're a year late. So we'll start off with that game at the top of Group 8, Italy-Wales, like you said. Both teams were much through. Wales would have had to have lost quite a lot, and Switzerland win by, I think it was 5-0 or something, for them to leapfrog Wales in terms of group standings due to the goal difference. Again, though, Italy, a much changed lineup from their first two games, but still did really well and managed to get the victory.
Yeah, seemed that way. They rested quite a few players as well. So their mind wasn't on going too much. There's always the same with Wales as well. Like they made the odd changes here and there. They changed the system completely.
Yeah.
But it did feel like a game where both teams were desperate for a massive win.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, the whole last round of fixtures, 4 points was be enough to get you through to the round of 16. And case in point here with Wales, they finished on 4 points and they've got through to the knockout stages, while Switzerland are also on 4 points, have to wait until the end of this week to see whether they can progress as one of the third best placed teams. Again, I gotta say though, Marco Verratti, first game in the Euros, and he absolutely dominated that midfield.
Yeah, like Wales didn't offer anything, so it was relatively simple.
I mean, just having a quick look at his stats: 94% pass accuracy, 136 touches in the game, won 50% of his tackles, 77% of his duels, and got the only assist of the game. Like, for someone who'd missed the first two games, that is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, but it just shows that Italy have a very good strength in depth.
Yeah, I mean, especially that midfield when Matteo Pessina, who scored the goal, lovely finish from him as well. Jorginho again played an absolute blinder this game. Like, that midfield is so strong. Like the fact that they can bring on Brian Cristante, bring on youngster Gaetano Castrovilli. They can completely rest Locatelli. Like, it's just so crazy. Only the real talking point in that game was Ethan Ampadu getting sent off 10 minutes into the second half. Was a rash challenge a bit. He does go in, stood showing on the Italian player, and VAR did have a look at it and saw it was a right decision, not enough to overturn it for a late tackle on Bernardeschi. But then you said to me, why wasn't the one in the Spain game the day before giving us a red card? And I'm like,
not the same thing.
Yeah, it's. I don't understand how you can have one rule for one and one for the other. I mean, I think that's the only talking point really that's made from this whole Euros in regards to VAR that I've had a problem with was, now you said that, thinking back to the game, the Spain-Poland one, how there wasn't a red card in that, yet this one was. Apart from that, I think VAR has done a really good job this Euros.
Yeah, we've always said the big issue with VAR isn't the system itself, it's whoever's running it. And whoever runs it is going to have a different opinion. I think it's subjective.
Yeah, and that's why you see so many, never have two same decisions. Obviously, case in point with the Spain-Poland game and yesterday Italy-Wales. But people seem to, especially in England, more aggrieved by it because, like, we have so many games on at the same time. So, like, how can one have one and one not the other? But I think Wales did really well when Ampadu got sent off. He managed to control Italy and didn't concede again. They did seem to go for it a bit when they made that substitution, taking off Jerome Morale of Luton and bringing on Kiefer Moore. But apart from that, I think they held themselves very good. First time Italy haven't scored 3 this tournament.
Yes, they didn't need to. They were just seeing the game out.
Yeah. Did you see Mancini's touch when the ball went out or play towards it?
Mancini, that whole game, just cemented himself as the coolest human being on the planet.
Yeah. And one thing I didn't see, I don't know whether you saw it, was in the 99th minute, he brought on Salvatore Sirigu with Donnarumma.
I saw it and I went, was he done that? Weird bastard. But no, there was the reason for it. I said it.
Yeah, which is absolutely brilliant on Mancini to do. But yeah, both teams have booked their place in the knockout stage for.
I need to mention as well the sexy swarf bloke just draping his jacket over his shoulder during his post match.
Yeah,
like looked like it came out of a Dolce & Gabbana advert.
So for both teams, in terms of playing round of 16, Italy will travel to Wembley Stadium on the 26th of June and they will face the runner-up in Group C, whilst Wales on the same day will travel to Amsterdam where they face the Group B runner-up, which they'll be able to. Both teams will be able to find out their opponents later on this evening. Mm-hmm. The other game, yes, the other Group A game that took place, Switzerland-Turkey. Like we said, Switzerland had to blow Turkey away, but it just didn't happen for them. Scored the goals. Haris Seferovic with a nice goal, and Xherdan Shaqiri scoring 2 not very nice goals, which he turned up for the tournament just in time.
It always does it. There's a tournament banger every time. Xherdan Shaqiri.
Yeah, I think it's the last 4 tournaments that Switzerland have gone to now. He scored 2010 World Cup, 2014 World Cup, and 2016 and this Euros.
Yeah, you could argue he scored better quality of goals than Ronaldo.
Yes. And Turkey's goal as well from Ifran Kaveci as well was really good.
It was pretty alright. Pointless, but
pointless. Yeah, like you said, pointless. So Turkey go home without a single point, and they only scored 1 goal, conceded 8. But like we said, Switzerland now have to wait until later on this week to see whether they can still go through and play in the knockout stages.
The thing going against them is the negative goal difference.
Yeah, which was what hampered them not getting second place yesterday. It's because they had it was 2 goals in the end separating themselves and Wales. So. Which was unfortunate for them and could be in the long run, because I think we said Croatia are one of the few teams that have a worse goal difference or the same goal difference as them. Otherwise,
it's not just them as well as it's like Slovakia, if they ended up finishing third somehow. Try to have a positive goal difference.
Well, them and Spain are on 0 at the minute, their goal difference.
Yeah. Well, there's a few teams that are positive.
Yeah, but the red. No, it's only Portugal that have +1. Spain are on 0 in third place. Croatia are -1, and Austria and Finland are on 0. So there is still a very strong chance that they can go through.
God, we have to get the calculator out by the end of this week.
Yes. On to today's games. We have both Group C and Group B finishing off. Group C at 5 o'clock UK time, B at 8 o'clock. Not a lot of permutations with Group C. I mean, Ukraine, Austria, that's the big one in terms of who goes through, because they're both on 3 points, both on 0 goal difference, and Ukraine have scored 1 but conceded 1 more than Austria at the minute. So that's obviously going to be the game to keep an eye out on in that one. Obviously, Austria see the return of Marko Arnautovic, whilst we obviously know about Ukraine's threats of Roman Yaremchuk and Andrei Yarmolenko.
Yeah, I completely agree. Do you know what I've just sort of thought about as well?
What?
As much as both teams will go for the win, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for if they drew. Because they get the 4 points.
Yeah.
And if they stick with their positive goal difference,
Mm-hmm.
then the third place goes through. Win.
Would that potentially be Group D winners or Group D runners up? So could England face one of them two sides?
No, we can't. If we won the group, we couldn't.
What about if we finish runners up? Could we? I can't remember. There's so many.
There's runners up for Group B if we end up finishing second.
Ah.
We can't place this lot unless we finish third or something like that.
So I had to say the permutation.
Even in that chance, we probably face the winners of a group.
Yeah, the permutations get so confusing. As the week goes on, it'll become a lot more clearer. Obviously, Netherlands, North Macedonia. Netherlands should win this. Can finish the group with a 100% win record. Denzel Dumfries obviously been the standout player.
I could see him making a few changes there.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if they make a good few changes. You see the likes of Ake, Windal starting in defence. May get to see Toon Koop Myers in midfield, and then probably rest Wouter Weghorst and start Donny Allen, which obviously still isn't it.
Still says that.
It's still a very strong squad for the Dutch. They should be all but through. And then Group B, Finland versus Belgium. Finland need to win this game or draw, and they can progress as long as Russia lose.
You can't rule out the Danish.
Yeah, and Belgium, they're all but through. You should say they should finish table toppers unless a surprise defeat comes their way. And
look at Denmark's goal difference is -2.
Yeah, they're on the same goal difference as Russia, -2.
So literally, they just have to win.
2-0.
Or just hope that win and Finland get beaten a bit.
Yeah, so this is out of the two groups the one that's probably the most wide open, because all four teams can still go through and home at the same time. Well, not home because Belgium are through, but yeah, it's going to be really
have something nice. Let's just have Denmark through. Do a nice thing.
Yes. Russia, Denmark at 8. Obviously, we just said the permutations for them. I think if I was to say no, actually, I'll wait until we get into our predictions.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
As to what I think will happen in the games. So to look back on yesterday's games, you had Italy winning, which you got correct. I said a draw, and we both said Switzerland would win, and we both got that right. So not too bad there from us. Before we go on to today's games, there has been a bit of news regarding player health and all that. So Billy Gilmore is having to self-isolate for the next 10 days after testing positive in the Scottish camp. It has been announced in the last 10 minutes or so. Whilst there is said to be no close contacts between any other players in that Scotland camp, and Germany have announced that there's been a few players missed today's training session, the likes of Mats Hummels, Lucas Klostermann, Thomas Muller, and Ilkay Gundogan due to injuries, but there hasn't been any announcement on the severity of those injuries as of yet.
In the Gilmores, that's not particularly great news for Scotland, considering the good performance that they had against England.
Yeah, I mean, putting a man of match performance, absolutely brilliant. So that is a bit of sad news for them. And I think Ousmane Dembele has also been announced as an injury, because he is.
I was going to say, the only reason he'd have went off what he did in that last game is because of injury.
Yeah, and he has left the French camp, so he won't be.
Bit of a shame for him.
Yeah, there is some talk that he could be out for the next 2 months with his injury, which is obviously a massive, massive shame for him. And obviously, getting into that Barcelona squad next season with the signings that they've made, it's going to be even harder for him as he enters the final year of his contract, I believe.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so that is some injury news regarding that, and Gareth Southgate obviously came out saying yesterday that Harry Kane would be starting for England against the Czech Republic tomorrow. So
Of course he would.
that's the only bit of team news regarding England. So today's predictions. We'll start off with the early games. Ukraine, Austria.
Ukraine.
Okay. And Netherlands, North Macedonia.
Netherlands.
Finland, Belgium.
I said Belgium for that one.
Denmark, Russia.
I'm going to go with the Danes.
Okay, so I'm not even going to try and work out your permutations for that as to who would go
It
through.
would lead to, I believe, Italy against Ukraine and Wales against Denmark.
Okay, well, I'll leave that for you. If that is right, then I'll leave that to you. Obviously, we'll announce it tomorrow on the podcast, who will play who, because we should have, obviously, them first two games announced and sorted for then. I'm going to go with Austria to win the first game. I'm also going to agree with the Netherlands and Belgium and Denmark as well.
Pretty simple.
Yeah. Right, that is all the Euro stuff. In terms of other bits of business, Gianluigi Donnarumma is apparently set to undergo his medical checks today for a move to Paris Saint-Germain, obviously on a free transfer. Good bit of business from PSG managing to get that done. There's some rumours that Man United are set to make Paul Pogba the highest paid player in the Premier League, offering him a deal which over the span of time could see him earn over 100 million, which would be ridiculous.
But a club won't learn.
No, I don't think it will happen.
Yeah, get with his agents. Probably will.
Oh yeah, and I believe that's all the transfer news, unless I've missed anything.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
I'll just accept it. Nothing's happening until the tournament finishes, or at least to the group stages end, and there's a few players available.
Yep, that is everything in terms of the football roundup. We'll be back tomorrow to round up today's games and look ahead to the final games in Group D, and is it Group E as well tomorrow? Yes.
Yeah. No.
No, just Group D tomorrow.
Yeah. Just us.
Yep. So hopefully England can go through and.
I'll just take a performance.
Can crush.
I'll take a good performance. I don't care.
I'll take Sancho.
Probably doesn't even want us to win the group.
Well, yeah. The annoying thing is it's on at 8 o'clock tomorrow, so we've got a fucking age to wait.
Oh gosh. We have to watch the food now.
Right, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss a post, and follow us on Twitter at OffTCPod for all the latest Euro stuff and obviously any transfers and managerial news that happens. Till then, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Brad.
See you.
We'll see you tomorrow.